How you doing? My name is Justin Andrews, and I will be analyzing my personal brand image during this presentation. I like to start by an introduction. I like to state that brand image isn't just for companies, it's for people too. It's the impression we leave, the recognition we build, and the cohesion we project. As I reflect on the article we read and my experience in this class, I've come to realize that my personal brand image is a living, evolving representation of who I am and how I show up in professional and academic spaces. How I measure my personal brand image. To measure my brand image, I consider three key dimensions. Number one is consistency. So I can ask myself, do my actions, communication, and presentation align with my values? For an example, I think sometimes we may think things in our mind or want to do something, and I'm not going to say it's a form of procrastination, but I guess you could say so in a sense that if I say I'm going to do something, I think it's best that I do it. Um, just a firm believer that actions do speak louder than words, and I really think that people pay attention to if the words that are coming out of my mouth or out of our mouth don't align within our actions. I think it could be perceived as procrastination. So that's just a little example. Number two is visibility. Am I showing up in ways that make me memorable and recognizable? For me, an example of visibility would be, me standing up when I need to, whether it's being a father to my children, being a husband to my wife, or being a good coworker, you know, as far as school goes, being able to prioritize, the important things that need to be addressed first, and you know, the time when it's time to step up, that's in my mind, my children can see, my dad is there for me, not only, as the physical part, but he's there for me mentally to, provide what I need. He guides me, gives me the tools that I need to be successful, when it's time for me to be out in the world on my own. So I think when it comes to visibility, it's definitely about being genuine and stepping up to the plate when we need to. Number three is perception. How do others interpret my presence, tone, and contributions? Um, I think when it comes to perception, I feel like I use myself, me being the best version of me being true to myself, being honest, and not trying to overstep boundaries or, do anything too unrealistic. And I believe that if you truly are yourself, um, it allows people to actually, see who you are for who you are. And I do feel like there'll be times I have been exposed in my life, and there's times when we'll be exposed in our life, and I believe that this is something that needs to happen in order to become the best version of you. And I think understanding that life is not always going to be easy or given to you, but I do believe that us being ourselves, us being honest, us being where we're supposed to be at that time, I think people will get the best perception of who we truly are. Some strengths of my brand image, as far as like clear communication, I strive to be articulate and thoughtful in discussions, which helps build trust and credibility. When it comes to professionalism, whether it's punctuality, preparedness, or presentation, I aim to reflect a polished and intentional persona. When it comes to growth mindset, I embrace feedback and actively seek opportunities to improve, which signals adaptability and resilience. And that goes hand in hand too. You definitely have to be willing to learn and not think that, we know it all. There's always room for improvement. Weaknesses of my brand image, low visibility. I believe at times I tend to stay in the background during group work, which can make my contributions less noticeable. Inconsistent messaging. My online presence doesn't always reflect the same professionalism I bring to class. Limited self-promotion. I hesitate to share achievements or ideas, which can make my brand image feel understated. Some recommendations for this marketing cycle, I would say enhancing visual identity, whether it's updating my LinkedIn and other platforms with cohesive visuals and messaging that reflect my goals and personality, to increasing engagement by maybe speaking up more in class, contribute more to discussions and share my insight that reflect my strengths, and align online and offline presence, ensure that my digital footprint matches the brand I'm building in real life. Professional, curious, and driven. Leverage storytelling, use personal narratives to make my brand more relatable and memorable. And pretty much my conclusion of it all, my personal brand is a work in progress, but it's one I'm committed to refining by focusing on visibility, consistency, and perception. I can shape a brand that not only reflects who I am, but also opens doors to future opportunities. This marketing cycle is my chance to be intentional, strategic, and bold in how I present myself to the world. Some words of advice: be true to yourself, stand up for what you believe in, take care of your family as best as you can, do the best you can, do the right thing when no one's looking, and not saying that everything's going to be perfect all the time, but if we do the best that we can, at least we could say, we did the best that we could, and it makes life a lot easier. Thank you for your time.